And this is a different game. However, it's going to be Clem opening with Banshees, possibly as a result of his opponent going for Roaches 3 times in a row. Though in the last game, I feel like Serral may not have gone Roaches if he hadn't spotted those factories as early as they were.
Acting early, you're trying to hit really sharp timings where you're not typically overwhelming with a large number of units. So while the Lings can deal with it, sure, you know, he's just been relying on other defensive capabilities. But man, this Spore Crawler coming in so late. The Banshee, the first Banshee getting what could have been 7 drones plus. Well, say that the aliens are still threatening that expansion too.
Yeah, and that is essential for Clem here because build order wise, I feel like Serral is completely unprepared for this, right? Like it catches him off guard, and it is the first Banshee rather than the first 2, which we usually see from Terran, as 2 will be able to one-shot the workers. But yeah, this catches Serral off guard, and that is very needed for a Clem that was going Banshee, perhaps anticipating that Serral would go for Roaches a 4th time in a row, right? So I feel like Clem puts himself at a potential disadvantage if Serral doesn't go Roaches, and if these Banshees don't really find the damage or as much damage as they just managed to find on the other side of the map. So the good news is we have a close game potentially in our hands.
And this is a matchup that can really deliver when we get to see 2 mechanical beasts like Clem and Serral push each other to the limit. And this is kind of what I'm talking about. He wants to move out and attack, and Serral's got a lot of Zerglings ready to immediately punish him. Door is open on the natural. Gets a surround in the 4th. He's going to kill it. No cancel, cats. And he's in the mineral line of the natural, too.
Yeah, I'm not sure what Clem was looking at. He definitely was not expecting this. I mean, the Lynx even attacked the command center before the rest of the Lynx managed to get into the natural. So Clem definitely had a little bit more of a warning than you usually get against the likes of Serral and Raynor to close his doors. Not able to do it, however, and will get hard punished for it. 23 workers already have gone down, and on the other side, Serral looks to have enough. Baneling speed is what he is waiting for before he chooses to collapse or chase off a creep. However, but with the Hellbat being an easy target, he will waddle on through. I'm not sure if that was the right call, as the bio will split behind the creep, and Clem is still kind of in this, Nate, but it's looking very dire in terms of economy.
Serral's done a good job of defending, right? He had the Queens, he had a bunch of Banelings, he has his Baneling speed already done, so makes pushing onto creep incredibly difficult. And that's just the 4th base of Serral that he's pushing at, right? The first 3 are mining just fine. He hasn't even taken the gas on his natural. He actually has that 5th base in the top left already done, so he's just about ready to go for that whenever he has an opportunity to saturate it. So he doesn't even need to rally the drones to this base. He could just sit here, defend this naked hatchery with nothing at it, and live his merry life. But look, we got Bane flank to the 3rd, another big run by headed to the natural, and he's brought some Banes just in case that door does get closed. But guess what? The door is still open. So he's here, and he's here to drink, take all the party favors with him.
Yeah, such confidence from Serral to push with so many of his units after having already done as much damage as he has. But this will force Clem into a very difficult position. However, Clem does find the hatchery here and the real estate because Serral has so much on the other side of the map. 15 additional workers have fallen for Clem, but he has mostly kept up in terms of worker production. So we see only, and I say only, a 19 worker gap between the 2. So I think Serral, again, I'll say it time and time again, he's one of the best players at knowing when to forfeit bases. And these 2 tanks actually from Clem not being paid attention to, very uncharacteristic of the young French.
I feel like we're really just seeing the impact of the economic damage coming through, the resources that have been lost, the workers that have been killed. These Banes pushing through. He actually has to cancel building the other part of the wall because he was trapped in there, so he just blows up the bunker instead. But Serral's got a really nice upgrade advantage, and he is getting ready to swarm this Terran army off. Creep Lings spilling through, Banes behind. Yeah. There's no creep here, but does he necessarily need it when Clem just has not been able to get damage done back to him outside of that first Banshee harass?
Yeah, I mean, all the control of the world may not save him as the last few Lynx try to get the wraparound for those Banelings to collapse onto the army of Clem, but unable to find the final catch. Somehow, some way, Clem has kept up in terms of supply. His army is technically bigger than Serral's as well, and these Banshees are still putting on some of the best work out of all units on the side of Clem here, but Serral looking very, very strong and very poised to take potentially a 3-1 here as he is now stable. He has decided to go for the infestation pit, so feels like he can start transitioning into something else. It's not going to be the Spire this time around. It could have been an infestation pit, a Spire, or at this point a Hydra, then into Lurkers. We might still see a Lurker transition, but for the time being, he's going to be content just getting his Hive. And yeah, I feel like Clem is in all sorts of trouble. Now dropping his 4th nade. That is a late.
Yeah, well, it's... You don't have an infinite amount of money to work with, even with mules. Unfortunately, the mules themselves do still need mineral patches to harvest. So the only reason why that 3rd base is as fresh as it is for Clem is because his workers have been killed about 700 times in this game already. Drop at the bottom right base is going to be routed back for the time being. That medevac on the left looked like it wanted, or the Banshee, excuse me, wanted to go into the main, and it was shoved back as well. You can see that without attack upgrades, the Banshee now takes 3 hits to kill a drone since the Carapace is done. So Banshees just kind of generally fall off the longer it goes because you're not usually investing into the upgrades. But then again, we rarely see them alive this late into the game too. Strike back. But Serral has been largely bulletproof in this series on the defense. Even without the roaches as his backbone, he's still just been so hard for Clem to break. And we've got these multi-prong drops. They're all over. He's trying to hit on the south. He's trying to hit in the west. He's trying to hit in the south and the west at the same time, even sometimes. But it doesn't seem to be adding up. Serral is just playing crazy fast. He's got this huge Lingbane army. To his credit, maybe the one thing that if we're looking for things to criticize, I don't know why you would want to do that, but he's building 2 lurker dens at once. So there you go. Even gods sometimes don't want to have to wait for one upgrade to finish to start the next. So even that, there's some sort of strategical, significance we could probably glean out of it.
I mean, right next to each other and at the same time. So I think we can safely say that this is, an option that he is taking consciously and an option that he wants to do because, he just probably feels like if he arrives to lurkers early enough, he is just in that dominant of a position. He can definitely afford this at this point in time. The mines are going to find just a couple of workers. Oh, maybe 3 more here. Almost the queen, but that is not enough. 5 workers at this stage.
Nydus is on the way too.
Yeah.
And Nydus is on the way as well. And I love this because I think this is what Serral's plan is going to be. Defend, 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 defend. You get a bunch of lurkers. You can get both upgrades at the same time. But if he gets a Nydus network inside the main base of Clem and we get lurkers that burrow on the production, there will be very little that Clem can do about it. He's busy trying to micro this fight at the southeast tower, fighting over a bit of creeped up space on the map. And both of those upgrades do begin. And here it is. The worm begins to tunnel. So if you're Serral, you want to distract, you want to make it hard to see what's going on here. Let's not forget, the Zerglings, they do not have adrenal glands yet. He hasn't started it either. But if those get in on top of the production, they are also going to rip those buildings apart.
Yeah, I mean, there's so little here from Clem, right? I look at the units. There's 3 tanks. They're all going to be needed here to answer these lurkers. Actually, the mines burrow. Maybe they get some shots off, and Serral not really reinforcing this Nydus for the time being. So actually, Clem will be able to have a very unconventional holder with mines against lurkers. And I mean, yeah,
Widow mines are really good, man.
If they
Widow mines are really good.
Clem looking for some transitions. The ghosts are now on the way. And my God, last time we saw Clem transition into those ghosts and into the later game in this matchup against the laser, he looked phenomenal. So maybe there is yet still hope for the young French.
Now, perhaps he's doing his best. He's taking his swings that he can. The Nydus has not accomplished much. I would have loved to seen Serral try to put a Nydus somewhere else. I feel like that main base is a really big priority target. He's gone toward the northeast part of the main. Okay, that's a little bit better. It's not the same obvious spot. And there's still a lot of very critical infrastructure here, including all of the supply depots.
I absolutely love this from Serral. He identifies that the Nydus in the main will go off, so decides to abandon a position that was already strong at the 3rd with the lurkers, leaving just 1 behind to harass that mineral line and pulling the rest of the lurkers back into the main. And this is going to make things near impossible for Clem. So, wow, incredible decision-making here from the Finn. He is going to get 2 more lurkers out, but now there's ghosts on board. So 14 workers have gone down, 59 remaining from Clem. A lot of supply depots also went down there. So all in all, a pretty good set of moments here from Serral, but answered. Now at the Planetary Fortress, it looks like there is no hope for it. And Serral making some beautiful, beautiful moves and trades here. Clem on the ropes, Nate.
Yeah, he got that Planetary Fortress as well, so he's capped as far as supply goes. All of his depots pretty much obliterated in that Nydus attack. That's one of those things that you don't normally think about until it already happens, and you're thinking, oh my goodness, maybe he didn't need to kill anything other than my depots, because now I've got to spend a couple thousand minerals to get back up there. And I would say, hey, maybe he'd want to use the supply drop, but he's had to save all of his energy for scans. He's just been playing whack-a-mole with these lurkers everywhere. And there's the parasitic bombs onto the medevac. So he's like, oh, you're going to load up and fly away? Cool. Maybe I'll blow some of you up in midair then.
Yeah, that was awesome. That's awesome. Very timely used to use the parasitic bombs, because now Clem has to micro on 2 fronts. He has to split the medevacs and pick up, which is already, I mean, I don't know how Terran players at this level even manage to pick up their bio half of the time, right? It's very elegant movement required just for that, never mind splitting the medevacs against parasitic bombs. But I mean, Clem is really in a tough position. When I saw the ghosts, I got a little bit excited, Nate. I thought this game could go longer, but Clem again gets caught on the other side of the map, and with not enough defenses set up, a more or less triple prong attack from Serral. No, not even more or less, maybe more than 3 prongs was what it was.
The quadra prong.
I think it might have been, right? Like at least 3 fronts from Serral at the same time do tax Clem so dearly, and now it's all about the Finn. He is moving in. This planetary fortress no doubt will fall, and with that, most of the chances of Clem, if they weren't already down the drain, this is looking impossible.
Yeah, it's gonna do another number onto the supply infrastructure, as Widowmine drop does kill a couple drones, but I mean, Serral, he's at 74 workers. He's got a large number of hatcheries, so the larva capabilities of replenishing that are definitely already set in motion. And this has just been, this whole series is just kind of like, it feels like Clem tries to punch Serral, but his punches just aren't as fast and strong as we're used to. And Serral's like, I haven't really lost a step. So if you haven't been improving since the last time we played, I am just going to consistently overwhelm you. And that's just what it feels like. The ghosts are the strongest tools that we have here for Clem against this lurker setup. But it's just the first game where we've actually had to get to this point. And gets another snipe. Good pick off on the Viper. This is what we want to see. The problem is there's not really a whole lot behind this. You know?
Yeah, the economy.
The economy is in shambles, as it were.
It really is. I mean, 46 workers, and Serral's not going to stop with these counterattacks. And you see the potential from those Clem ghosts, right? Like, he is actually an incredible player when it comes to this part of the game as well. And I would have loved nothing more to see that the 2 of the best macro players in this matchup go at it on even footing. But it's been Clem on the back foot the entire time. And I love what he's doing there. When he pushes with his army, he trades effectively, and he takes a 4th base that is consistent with his positioning, right? Like, he is defending as he attacks by being on the aggression. But I mean, unfortunately for him, he's gonna need to find some magical snipes, and he's gonna have to really, it's really gonna be a lot of trading that is gonna have to be in his favor before he can really stabilize and we can call this a game again.
Now, there is one weird thing that is working pretty well in Clem's favor, and I think it's part of why he hasn't been taken down. Serral never got adrenal glands for his lings, so he's missing a pretty ludicrous upgrade for his army, but he may not need it anyway. He's going to catch the bio army out of the northwest tower. Lurkers are going to burrow. Mine shots are dragged onto the bio by those Zerglings, and well, he was going to try to take that base, but yes, not anymore. Serral takes it 3-1.